Tuesday night, Wolverhampton, Molineux is already full, and it's not even kick-off. The turnstiles are under pressure, the queues are collapsing, wooden gates begin to give way as thousands push forward, desperate to get inside. Police are struggling, stewards are overwhelmed. Inside the ground, the South Bank is a sea of red, packed tight, shoulder to shoulder, no space to move, no space to breathe. Outside, thousands more are locked out, still arriving, still hoping. Liverpool only need a draw to win the league. Wolves need a win to survive. Title on the line, relegation on the line, and one terrace about to be swallowed whole. By the final whistle, thousands were on the pitch, and the South Bank would never look the same again. This was not a normal away day. Liverpool arrived at Molineux level on points with Queen's Park Rangers. The title would be decided tonight. A draw would be enough. Anything less, and QPR would be champions. At the other end of the table, Wolves were fighting for survival. They had to win, and even that might not save them. Birmingham's result at Sheffield United mattered just as much. Everything was balanced on 90 minutes, but this was 1976. No online tickets, no strict allocations, no heavy segregation. It was pay on the gate, turn up, queue, get in if you could. And because it was a Tuesday night, there was no all-ticket precaution, no special restrictions, just old terraces, wooden gates, and word spreading across Merseyside that the league title could be won in Wolverhampton. In the 1970s, when something big was at stake, people travelled, and this was football at its most volatile. By mid-afternoon, Wolverhampton had changed colour. The town centre was flooded with red. Coaches kept arriving, trains kept pulling in. Liverpool supporters poured through the streets in their thousands. They were loud, they were confident. Many had been drinking for hours. Songs echoed off shop fronts as the reality sank in. The league title could be won here. But as kick-off drew closer, the mood shifted. Outside the South Bank, the queues stopped moving. The pressure began to build. Bodies pressed together, people shouting from the back to move forward, those at the front with nowhere to go. Police and stewards were overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it. There were simply too many people. This wasn't a planned invasion, it was weight of numbers. The South Bank was traditionally the away end at Molineux. That's where visiting support went. Open terracing, massive capacity, raw atmosphere. But it wasn't neutral ground. Wolves had a strong terrace presence in the 1970s. Their hardcore followed the South Bank too. It was part of their identity, part of their territory. On this night, that balance shifted. Liverpool's numbers far exceeded anything expected. They didn't arrive in small groups, they arrived in waves. The South Bank filled quickly, then it overflowed. Wolves' firm were pushed back. Many drifted toward the North Bank. Some simply couldn't get near their usual ground. This is where the debate begins. Was the South Bank taken, or was it simply overwhelmed? The official attendance was 48,900, just under capacity. Yet many who were there insist there were far more inside. 60,000 is often mentioned, and thousands more were locked out altogether. Whatever. The exact figure, one thing was clear. The South Bank belonged to Liverpool that night. Inside the ground, the atmosphere was electric, but it was also dangerous. On the terraces, people were packed so tight they couldn't lower their arms. Some stood sideways just to breathe. Movement wasn't possible. You went where the crowd moved. The South Bank was beyond comfortable capacity. So was the North Bank. Bodies pressed against crush barriers. No space, no release. This was the pre-Hillsborough era. Crowd safety was basic. Segregation was loose. Policing was reactive, not preventative. When Liverpool scored, the pressure surged forward. Hundreds spilled onto the pitch. They were pushed back. Then it happened again and again. Each goal brought another wave. There were genuine fears the referee might abandon the match. Another invasion at the wrong moment and control could have been lost completely. Looking back now, it's hard not to see how close it came. This could have turned tragic. It didn't, but only just. On the pitch, Wolves struck first. Steve Kindon gave them the lead early on. Molineux erupted. For a moment, survival felt possible. Up in London, QPR fans listening on the radio began to believe. If it stayed like this, the title was theirs. Liverpool pushed forward, patient, relentless. Time ticked away. Then the swing came. Kevin Keegan equalised. The pressure grew heavier. John Toshak followed. and then Ray Kennedy sealed it. 3 goals, late, ruthless. Final score 3-1 to Liverpool. The title was secured and Wolves were heading down. When the final whistle blew, the release was instant. Thousands poured onto the pitch. Not hundreds. Thousands. Red shirts flooded the turf. Players disappeared into the mass. Scarves in the air, bodies everywhere. It didn't stop there. The surge began to move again, this time toward the North Bank, toward the Wolves supporters who had been pushed back earlier in the night. For a few tense moments there was a standoff, celebrating Liverpool fans on one side, angry, relegated Wolves on the other, just yards apart. It could have tipped either way. Police finally forced the crowd back, restoring some kind of order. But the control had long gone. Some fans left the way they came in, others simply walked out through exits, tunnels, anywhere they could. Outside the ground, thousands who never made it in stood around car radios listening as the title slipped away or was confirmed. It was the night the South Bank was overwhelmed. And the night 30,000 Liverpool fans or so, the legend says, stormed Molineux.